Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. It is June the 8th, 2024. We are live down here at WCCO every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, REMAX Advantage Plus. In studio today, we've got Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. We're getting ready to go live on air on WCCO in just a couple minutes here. You're always welcome to join us. Questions, comments, thoughts. A lot to talk about today, guys. Scott, good morning to you, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. mnrealestateshow.com is how you can check us out 24/7 or during the show. 612-294-6949 is our phone number. You can come make a call, come in live, or you can text us your question to that number, and we will handle it on air.
Yeah, Brad, good to have you, buddy.
Thanks. I was traveling yesterday, and I stopped at a Quick Trip, and there was this lady standing with groceries, and she took her perfume out, and she sprayed herself all over. And as you walked by, you could smell the perfume. It was really strong. Do you guys wear a lot of cologne, a lot of perfume?
I do not.
I do.
So people around you can smell it?
Well, I don't know if people around me can smell it, but I don't know. I've always been a cologne guy. So the way that I was taught to do it is you spray 2 sprays in the air and then you walk through it.
Okay.
So that's what I put on. So I don't know if you could smell it around me, but yeah, I've always been a
She
cologne
sprayed
guy.
like 9 in the air.
Oh my gosh.
And walked through. It didn't even walk through. It was on her. So
Hey, a lot going on in the Minnesota real estate market. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We always do a market update in the first segment of the show, real estate, mortgage update as well. We'll feature some specific listings. Welcome your questions, thoughts. mnrealestateshow.com is where you can go to see all of our great partners that are part of the show that help agents on the Minnesota real estate team help our clients. Scott, we got a lot of good people there.
Yeah, we do. Literally from the best of the best, from accountants to stagers to inspectors to roofers to insurance agents. We got the best on the show today. So yeah, everything you could possibly want, you can find there. And if you get frustrated, go ahead and just shoot us an email, and we'll make sure we get you pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go live on air again. WCCO. Hope your weekend is going well, everybody. At any point throughout the show, interrupt us. Again, it's News Talk 830 on WCCO. A lot of good stuff to talk about here today. Appreciate you joining us, everybody. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. Hope your June the 9th, is it June the 8th? Right. June the 8th is starting off well for you. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, REMAX Advantage Plus. We are here every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on News Talk 830 WCCO. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. This show is all about real estate, mortgage, what's going on currently in the market. Today, we've got Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance, giving us some insurance updates. Scott, good morning to you there, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It is an interactive show. We love your comments and feedback as we go through today. 612-294-6949 is how you can join the discussion. Either shoot us a text or give us a call if you have a question that you want to get answered.
Yeah, again, a lot going on in the market. We're going to dive right in to mortgage and real estate update. These are year-over-year numbers that we're comparing just what's going on in the Twin Cities here from an activity standpoint. New homes for sale, new listings are down 9.4%. So there were 1,288 new homes. Pending sales also down 6.6%. There were 1,127 pending sales. And then the inventory is up still about 15%. year over year. There are 8,428 homes for sale. And Scott, just from a mortgage standpoint, they mentioned, they said prospective home buyers receive good news in the form of declining mortgage rates. They fell for the third consecutive week, offering consumers some relief amid persistent affordability challenges. According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 6.94 for the week ending May 23rd. 6.94, rates down a little bit. Not a lot, Scott, not significant, but it's some.
Yeah, it's some. And the thing with rates is, as long as they're creeping around that 7% range, I mean, here's the hardest thing to kind of understand if you're not watching this daily. If you were to go back to the beginning of 2022 when rates were at 2.8%, and you listed a home, you might have 500 searches, meaning that there are agents out there that have at least 500 buyers that have your criteria set. And with that happening, I lost my train of thought now.
That's all right. That's
ahead.
all right. I think, the interesting thing when you look at the numbers of homes, again, being up 15%, you think, wow, there's a lot to choose from. And the reality of it is there's really not a lot to choose from for agents out there. For buyers, it's difficult. It's frustrating. Most importantly for our buyers who are trying to find something to buy, but even more frustrating for the agents who are saying, hey, look, there's nothing in Maple Grove in this price range. There's nothing in Savage. There's nothing in Woodbury. There's nothing in Matamidi and New Prague. That's a challenge, Scott.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, is what people are finding is that there's a break. So right now you list a house, you might have 1,700 people that have it saved, which is an incredible amount of activity. And boy, I'm doing it again. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm losing my train of thought.
No, that's all right. Yeah, with those saved searches, with a lot of saved searches, having that on MLS, it can be frustrating. Again, where you see all that activity, Brad, and then at the end of the day, you're like, wow, why are we not getting more activity on the home?
And then if rates go down, we're going to be adding all kinds of more buyers to a limited inventory, and it's just going to get more muddy, I would assume.
Yeah, it's so, from a home seller standpoint, kind of a market update, it is still one of the best markets to sell your property. But more important than anything is pricing. You really have to be working with a good agent so he or she can kindly advise you on the market, on market conditions. With rates at 7%, buyers are not just going to arbitrarily throw out offers 30 grand above list price, et cetera. So looking at that pricing, really dialing in the pricing is an important step. And again, when we look at almost 7% for an interest rate, yes, that is historically lower. But again, when you look at all of the challenges in today's economy, with inflation, with cost of groceries, with cost of fuel, all these different things that people are, it's a challenge for all of us. 7% is significant, Scott. That's a big deal.
It is. And the affordability that people are having.
We lost your mic there, buddy.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things. I mean, people are basically not liking what their next step is. So they're looking at a 7% rate and they're looking at 600. And they're not liking what they're buying for 600, and they definitely don't like what their payment is at 600. And that's been kind of going like that for about a year and a half, which is kind of putting people on the fence. They're just not jumping. I heard a statistic that if we have a 1% drop in interest rate, so we went from 7% to 6%, that would add 9 million buyers to the market. And that's a ton. That means that there is a ton of people that are just like, God, I just don't quite like it. But if this happened, then I would be in. And I think as we creep towards the election, I know I've said this and been wrong, but I do think we're going to see rates come down to a little bit more of a palatable number.
Yeah, again, we're live here at WCCO every Saturday from 10 to 11. First segment, always doing, again, a little bit of an update, real estate update before the break. Did want to touch on a listing with the Minnesota real estate team. Mr. Adam Benedict has one in St. Paul, 300 Wall Street, number 404, a condo unit for $327,500. It is, again, a one bed, one bath. It's a south-facing unit in the historic Great Northern Lofts. Very nicely sized, open concept spaces, vaulted ceilings, exquisite hardwood floors, lots of updates. Adam said it's city living and you get a river view down in lovely downtown St. Paul. Building amenities abound. So again, check that out. 300 Wall Street, number 404, with Adam Benedict for $327.5, listed with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Folks, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us on social. Brad's got a Celsius today. Look at your Celsius, bud.
I love that berry mix, sparkling water.
Those are too much caffeine for me. Have you had one, Scott?
What are these?
Celsius. It's basically an energy drink, but it's like a healthy one. But I think it's super strong in caffeine.
The Rock has one out called Zoa.
Zoa.
Yep, and it's basically the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Pellegrino's got one that's out. It's I can't remember, but it's the best one I've tasted.
San Pellegrino has a.
I
love San
Yeah,
Pellegrino.
and it's really good.
Yeah, I've got to give a nice shout out, Bill Ebert. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on social. Others as well, wherever you're catching us. Again, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X. Thanks for joining us each week. Again, we take your questions, comments, thoughts. One question that came in yesterday from a listener was about transportation and convenience to things. And you think about that, guys. Maybe Scott, talk about that when you think about buying a home and convenience to amenities.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of times especially when I have a first-time home buyer, normally if you're a little bit older and maybe you've been through a few moves, you've been able to identify kind of how you live. But that's what I always have new home buyers do. Said sit down and write out, how do you live? Like, where do you like to go to eat? What specific restaurants do you like to go to eat? Where do you go to the gym? What bars do you like to hang out at? Because a lot of times you might think, well, I want to live in X because that's centrally located. But then you find out, well, I don't really care if it's centrally located because I do everything in Lakeville or I do everything in Maple Grove or whatever. And so it's really just to decide, how do I live my life? And based on that, then finding a location that works.
Yeah, again, sometimes people, we've noticed over the years with buyers, purchasing property, and then maybe they get into the property, Brad, and then they realize that, hey, this is further from church than what I expected. This is not as convenient to Aldi. This is not as convenient to Starbucks or wherever your jam is.
Right.
Thoughts on that?
Well, I'm a suburban boy, so I was always going to look in the suburbs and have a little bit of space. I never really thought about downtown because it's one on top of the other. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought about most of those things, but not Aldi's or Starbucks.
Not Aldi's?
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where you go, man, I want to live in Edina. And then you go, man, I visit my mom like 4 times a week in Farmington.
Sure.
So it's like, I live in Edina, but that is literally where I spend my time. 4 times a week, I'm going to be in Farmington or wherever you find out. So it is important because you'd be surprised how many people get into a house and within 6 months, they're like, I don't like it. I mean, it's not like necessarily like the house, but I don't like where I'm living.
And a good realtor is going to help you through that, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah, just to understand the neighborhood, understand the school districts, building projects, different things going on. Once we go back live on air, I got another good question that had come in this week regarding this and regarding proposed building something in a neighborhood, whether it's a new apartment building coming up. This happened to be a specific church that was going to be built in a neighborhood, and what you can do.
Well, I felt stupid years ago. I got a call from somebody, and they said, "Well, can you tell me what the walking score is?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "I'll get back to you on that." I had no idea what a walking score is, and as I found out, it was a score given to the location.
Walking score.
A walking score. Your location of what you can walk to.
Yeah, if you're able to walk to amenities. Well, that's important for certain people. Walking versus living out in the sticks and wanting some privacy.
Right.
Here we go. We're going back live on air at WCCO. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekend is starting off well. We're grateful for you tuning in and listening. This is an informative show. We are here to provide you as buyers, sellers, potential real estate investors in Minnesota, Western Wisconsin, what what you can do, how you can most effectively move forward, how you could advise a friend, a neighbor, your mom or dad, grandkid, whatever it might be. Guys, we had a question come in this week, was a very good one. The buyer had asked specifically about a type of church that was going to be built in a neighborhood and how that would affect them as neighbors. And what I wrote back, Scott, and obviously I'm very interested in your thoughts too. You have to remember when you're hiring a real estate agent, it's not their job. We cannot, as realtors, cannot steer people. We cannot push people to certain neighborhoods, to certain types of areas, etc. But what our job is to provide facts and information, and also then encourage the homeowner to do their own research and determine what's important to them. I think this person who asked us the question was almost trying to incite us a little bit, like, hey, what do you think about this? Isn't this going to be a bad thing? And again, that is not the job of your real estate agent. Your real estate agent should not be doing that.
Yeah, but to answer your question, is it an issue? It depends. It's like any other commercial property. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about. So from your home, can you physically see it? Are you up against the parking lot? Are you backing to the church? I mean, or is it a church that's at the entrance to your neighborhood and you're more offset to it? I got a call a couple of weeks ago where a commercial cement company's coming in. And they're on acreage, and they wanted to know, is this going to affect me? And that was the answer I gave them. I said, can you physically see it? If you can you physically see it all the time, or is it just in the winter? And that's going to affect your property value.
Yeah, again, just remember too, as agents, you cannot steer, you cannot push people certain directions. I used to live on a busy road in Bloomington, so kind of to Scott's point, when I bought the property, it's a duplex, I didn't really know anything about that. And frankly, now I do.
No.
So something like that is an important item to just say, hey, you may love this, Ryan, but just remember down the road, this is a factor for people. When you want to resell this duplex on the busy road, a lot of people are not going to like busy roads, Brad, because they've got kids, they've got dogs, they've got, they don't want to hear traffic falling asleep.
Well, and it sounds like that's a question for the city, right? Because they zone all of the land, whether it's residential, industrial, commercial. So
Yep.
The city had a plan, right?
Yep.
So were they looking for you to go to the city and get that information? Or?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, I'll tell you what, the worst one I've ever had in my history of being an agent is I sold a home on Prior Lake. And then I went down after it had closed, I went down to the city just as a favor to my client. They were going to put a pool in. We've been out there multiple times. And so I went down to get a plat for them. And as soon as I said the address, I had 4 city planners on me. And they're like, is this I won't say their last name, whatever property? And I said, yeah, we just closed on it. They said they've been in court with us for the last 5 years, 130 feet by 400 feet of what looked like their property that goes all the way up to County Road 42 was for future expansion of County Road 42, which if it occurred would have put County Road 42 18 feet outside the dining room of this house on Prior Lake. And major thing. And it's not good.
Yeah, we had a question. Average days on market in the Twin City is actually 46 days. So again, we're seeing more properties sit a little bit longer. We're seeing, especially overpriced properties, sit longer. Buyers not take action on those. That's hard. That's hard because it's a different market than COVID, but it's also really stressing the importance of pricing properties correctly. And Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. We were talking before the show. Insurance, staggering increases for people. That's affecting homeowners. Dennis was talking about maybe for retirees. They paid their home off. They're thinking, look, I'm done. This is great. And now between taxes and insurance, those are not always happy bills to get.
They're not. I mean, as of the end of May, your homeowner's insurance has gone up 26 to 35% from the previous time. And that's a staggering amount, is the amount that you're talking about. state of insurance on an average $300,000 home, the national average is 2230, so 2,230.
Mm.
Wisconsin's 1150. Minnesota is right there at 2417. South Dakota's at 2,800. So
wait, 2,400 for
Mhm.
Minnesota,
Yep.
and you said Wisconsin was what?
Wisconsin was 1154.
Wow, why the big disparity?
I can only assume Minneapolis, St. Paul, that area, that many more people. The houses are more spread out in
Sure.
Wisconsin than that. So
Interesting,
yeah.
very
I
interesting.
suppose so, less damage.
And more land compared to the house, whereas here it's more house compared to the land.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
What can people do? Whether you're a new buyer needing insurance, whether you're existing homeowners, help us.
well,
Save us.
you're teasing for the next section. The next section, I've got what you want to write down and do if you're going to shop your insurance and take it to someplace else. So I got a few things that you can think about. But the highest insurance in the country, $5,500. We all know it's Florida, right?
Yeah.
Which state is number 2 at $5,200?
California.
I was going to say California.
Okay, that's great guess, but great guess, but no.
Number 2.
So not California. It would be New York.
This is riveting radio.
Let's ask Dennis. What do you think, Dennis? What do we got?
What was the first one?
First one's Florida.
Florida.
What's
Florida.
second?
I'd have to say Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Great guess. According to national average, according to Property Casualty 360, it is Nebraska.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, the cyclones. What do they call those again? The
The tornadoes that go through there. The
yeah, but there's a
Cyclone
name
Alley.
for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
Big
that's
tornado.
yeah.
Very, very nasty
twisty,
tornado.
No.
twisty things.
Twisty-
No, there's a
Windy,
specific
twisty.
name, and I was not familiar with it about those types of tornadoes.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
cyclones.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think of all the names of or the thesaurus of tornadoes.
Yeah, right. So what? I know you mentioned some tips. What can people do?
So you want to get into it now?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right,
it.
Let's get into it now. So things that you need to be aware of. Insurers will use a lot of personal ratings, like your claims history, where you live, as we talked about Nebraska, right? You got Tornado Alley, the age of your home, those types of things that weighs into it. So when you're comparing and you're ready to go, you want to have your current declaration page, which says what your dwelling is and all the coverages that you have on it. You will be giving your name, your date of birth, your marital status, and how long you've lived in the home. And then some carriers will require a credit score because basically they're extending credit to you that they will pay in a loss, and you have to pay the premium for us so that you can have that coverage, right? So it's you pay this and we'll do this. You don't pay that, we don't do that. So property details, agents can look up most of the information, but be ready to give the construction year, the age of the roof. I've asked you guys that many times when in previous shows, right? The age of the roof is really important nowadays. The square feet, custom features. Have you updated your furnace? Have you updated your air conditioner? Do you have a water notification system?
Think
Things
about
like
it
that.
though, as homeowners. Not to interrupt, but
Go for it.
how many people really do that? You know what I mean? Like when you buy your house, I mean, are there people that sit down every year and do what you're describing? I mean, that's wonderful. I think more power to them. I would think the vast majority of people set it and forget it.
You know, much like realtors lead you through the process of buying a home, a good insurance agent will lead you through renewing your policy. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. What do you think about that, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, you know what I've always wondered with insurance companies, and obviously they make a ton of money, but so let's say your insurance is $2,200 a year on your $300,000 house, and you're in Florida, or $5,000 a year and you're in Florida, and then you have a massive wipeout of billions of dollars. How I've never understood. So let's say you collect 10 years of premiums, so you've collected $50,000. And one little wind goes through, blows your house, and costs the insurance company $400. How are they profitable?
That's I can answer that.
Okay.
One of my nephews is an actuary.
Oh my gosh.
And he is crunching numbers, analytics, scenarios, exactly in that to determine he's fantastic with numbers. I would think a lot of actuarial studies and such is probably what happens there. You think?
Insurance carriers employ a lot of actuarialists, yes, because they will try to figure out somebody in Florida makes a claim, but 8 people in Kansas don't make
Yeah.
a claim, right? But remember, your home is 400,000, but you have personal property of 300,000. You will get paid if you have to live somewhere else of 80,000. So there's a lot more that insurance companies pay when there's a loss.
Yeah, we're up against the halfway point at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Before we break, another listing. Justin Voss with the Minnesota Real Estate Team has one in Farmington, 1309 Larch Street for $375,000. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath with 2 garage stalls, built in 2000, almost 1,700 square feet. It's got a great floor plan, move-in ready. And he said the HOA provides a playground right behind the house with a swing set and slide for under $500 a year. The front yard offers great views overlooking the park, which has a pond with fishing and walking paths. He's doing an open house today, Saturday, 12 to 2. If you're looking in the Farmington area, 1309 Larch Street, Justin Voss with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus has that listed. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Some comments. Good morning to Jen. Jen, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it for tuning in. Hope you and your family are having a great weekend. Thanks for the others as well with your comments. Brad, it's always great to have you on. It's insurance just seems like in general kind of the big thing. I think about homeowners associations too, and what they're dealing with as homeowners associations with increased costs and then having to charge or increase dues for condos and townhomes.
So a lot of times, almost all the time, they have a loss assessment clause. And so a lot of the times it's like 15,000, 25,000, the max 50,000. I've noticed a lot of associations sending out letters to their neighborhood and telling them, their association people, and telling them that they have to raise or make sure that their loss assessment is now 25,000 instead of 15,000. Because what that means is when there's a storm and the roof gets damaged, you have to, as a townhome owner or condo owner, you have to make a claim to your insurance company, and that 25,000 gets lumped with all the other 20, and then they pay for the roof.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's they're looking at cost too, and they're either raising their deductible to get a lower payment, or they are taking some costs away, or there's all kinds of things you can do. So.
Scott had a question about, are we using AI in our real estate business?
Ooh.
Interesting. What do you think about AI, ChatGPT, Copilot with Microsoft, all those various things?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask on this. So am I using AI? No. Will we be using AI? Yes. Interesting thing with AI though, I just saw a thing, I don't remember where it was, but the same exact verbiage is coming in on resumes, like corporate resumes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that? So a guy, an employer gets 400 resumes, and then when it asks, tell us about this, it's the exact same thing being written word for word.
Yeah.
Because everybody's using AI and they're plugging in the question.
Right. Yeah, it is funny. I had this happen. Had a younger professional I know who is just out of high school, and had communicated with this person a fair amount, but he ended up sending me an email, sending a message, and it was I could tell that he had written it with AI.
With AI.
It was just so perfect and such so descriptive.
Yes.
and Mr. O'Neill. I don't know. I just have to laugh because I think, and again, I've used it in some capacities. I think there's some agents that are using it for descriptions on their listings. Those two, however, I think could be way out overboard in how they're describing the property. Is it really going to make a difference how you describe your agent remarks and public remarks with a listing if you use AI? I don't know. You can't convince me of that. People are visual people with the pictures.
Is it going to help you search for homes? Tell you which ones are exactly what you want?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I don't know. The whole AI thing just in general scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a new movie that just came out. I don't remember what it is, but Yeah, I mean, when you think you're smarter than the computers, and then you realize,
Just scares you.
yeah, it scares me a little bit.
Hey, I gave a shout out, Miss Marissa Volstad. She has an open house, she said today at her listing, 10 a.m. to 12. She's there right now, tomorrow, Sunday from 12 to 2. It's up in Lidwin Township, 21466 East Birchwood Circle. And she said it's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2.5-acre property. Lots of great updates. Looking for some land and privacy. Come check it out. Very cool, Marissa. Nice job. Nice job with that. Appreciate you sharing that listing. Good luck with your open house. We're getting ready to go back live on air on the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekends are going well. Top of the morning to you from this Irishman to you all here on a sunny day in Minnesota. We're at WCCO. And we enjoy being here talking real estate, mortgage, insurance, a lot going on. Had just a nice question about AI. Are we using AI? I mean, Brad, what if I come in one of these weeks and Scott's turned into like a robot or something?
Yeah. For those of you that can't see Ryan's verbal tells, there's a joke coming when he does his thing. Anyway.
AI. We were talking.
Yes,
we were
AI.
talking last night, though. Actually, when you think about it, okay, 50 years from now, let's go 50 years from now. Like you think about, and by the way, Greatest Generation, D-Day this past week. God bless all of the families, service people, all of their commitment, just wonderful. But you think about, we were talking about that time frame. What was the big thing for them then? And Scott and I said maybe it was the telephone. Maybe the telephone was the thing. And then we said for us, okay, 30s, 40s, 50s, what's the big thing? The internet.
Yeah.
What is it going to be 50 years from now? What are we going to look back and say, what was the big thing?
Well, the other thing we also said is, do you think agents are going to be are we going to look back at how much we use TikTok and be like, I feel maybe it's a little bit too much, but I mean, that is AI. The one thing with AI that I have thought about using, everybody's starting to do a resume now because of the new switch with, I'm a buyer's agent. Here's my resume. I think having AI write your resume or help you with writing your resume might be a decent thing.
Yeah. Again, there's lots of different products out there. Lots of different things that will be interesting to follow over time. Of course, those of you that are big stock market people with NVIDIA and some of these companies that are just blowing up and getting so huge. It's obviously something that, again, from a real estate standpoint, agents, brokers are aware of it. From a day-to-day standpoint right now, I'm not seeing a huge use of it. Again, public remarks, agent remarks. We're seeing some agents write those remarks using AI. But again, being such visual people, and again, we've got some great photo partners, Nordy Photography, VHT. Those photos, it's hard to get around that, guys. You may have the best AI description of a property, but if you got cheap photos, if you've got junky photos or they're not appealing, you're not going to get many showings.
Yeah, it's what's different in this market than it was 100 years ago. Obviously, is everybody's got access to all the photos out there. So if you've got a listing that's on and people are like, well, I'm not getting any showings. And then you go and you look, well, actually, we've had 800 people look at it online. And out of those 800, only a few people went in for additional photos. Well, you don't have to be a mathematician to understand that your photos aren't great. Something is not catching the audience to take the next move, to look at, disclosures and look at, interior virtual tours and all of that. So if you're not getting that next step, then the photos aren't great. And that's how people make their choice.
So to Ryan's point, if you use AI and take your picture and say that you are a Terminator, and it kind of turns you into the realtor Terminator, that is using
works.
AI.
That's
That'd be a
using
great
AI.
picture.
Absolutely. I think I am the realtor Terminator.
The real Terminator. Speaking of Terminators, actually, I did want to hit on this listing too. This one is in Oakdale, 6584 4th Street North. Guys, in Oakdale for $315,000. David Meyer has this listed. He said it's a quiet Oakdale side street in comparison to my Bloomington duplex. There have been a lot of updates in the last 5 to 7 years. Windows, doors, wrought iron fencing, stainless steel appliances. granite, marble, slate, 2 fireplaces, a new furnace, a new in 2021, new roof 2022, new water heater in 2023. And David says it's a reasonably priced starter home with a large yard. And he's doing an open house actually Sunday, tomorrow, from 12 to 2, June 9th. Some gorgeous gardens too. Oakdale, my brother Thomas, my sister-in-law Amy lived in Oakdale raised their 3 wonderful daughters in Oakdale. Great community, guys. A very good part of town.
Yeah, it is. In fact, Grandpa Larry, rest his soul, he lived in Woodbury for many years. So yeah, it's a real pretty area, man. Talk about it's like Lakeville. Talk about an area that's been built up. Woodbury just keeps going.
Yeah, it is interesting. Again, we had the question earlier about location and about as agents advising your clients depending upon location. This may seem obvious as buyers out there if you're looking to buy, but really, like Scott said, maybe put together a list of the 10 things that are most important to you. What do you do every week? What do you do every day? Do you want to get to know your neighbors and be close to neighbors? Do you not want to? Speaking of that, one thing a lot of times people don't think about is associations.
Are you the type of person that can handle an association? Yeah. And trust me, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, it's great. It's got an association. That means people aren't going to be able to park their cars in the street and they have campers in the driveways and whatever. But if you're the type of person that likes to have cars parked in the street, you can run into a problem because they're there for a reason, and sometimes people don't like it.
Yeah, the hard part about associations too, there's many benefits, obviously, for living in an association. Just remember, you're in a community of people, and people have differing opinions. There is a board that's involved. The board makes decision on behalf of the community, and often, of course, in today's world, people don't play nicely in the sandbox. And so you think about it, do I want to put this in my front yard? Do I want to just certain things that, again, it's important to really think about and know, because I have known a lot of clients over the years that maybe bought into an association and they ended up saying, look, I didn't like this, or I didn't like how they enforced this rule on me, or different things, guys.
Yeah, if you're somebody that wants to have flexibility in the way that you live, associations are not for you. If you have boats and you have teenagers. So let's, for example, we had 7 of us in the house, and so that means we had 5 cars. Well, there's going to be some cars parked in the driveway. Well, if you're in an association that does not allow that can be a hassle for a family of 5 or 6.
And you have to remember, those board members are most times your neighbors.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, like Mr. O'Neill's on a board.
I am on a board.
He's the president. Are you not the president?
I am.
Yes.
I am, young man. It's an interesting deal. It is an interesting deal, and you try to keep the peace, but people can be fiery. People can have their opinions. And so it's just something to be aware of as a buyer, as a seller. My dear mom, is a longtime listener of the show. She lives in a great association in New Prague. They get along. They work cooperatively. Maybe that's New Prague.
Or maybe it's because Kathleen Mom is on the association. How could they not get along? It's like pixie dust. It's like O'Neill pixie dust. Everybody just get along. Everybody be happy. Oh, Kathleen.
Oh boy. It is an interesting one to think about. Hey, we're up against a break here. Before we do, though, I did want to hit on my friend, Mr. Mike Hilber, has a nice one up in Lindstrom, guys. 31468 Maria Avenue in Lindstrom, for sale, $700,000. It's a 2018 custom built property, 2,044 finished square feet, 3-bed, 3-bath, walkout rambler. It's on North Lindstrom Lake, and the home has 10-foot ceilings, in-floor heat, Marvin windows, luxury vinyl plank flooring, main floor laundry, and the exterior, Scott, has both a patio and a composite deck on the private west-facing bay for beautiful sunsets. This lake, the North Lindstrom Lake, it's connected to the largest chain of lakes in the Chisago Lakes area, over 3,000 acres of water. Mike says, come out, enjoy the trophy fishing, water recreation, shops, parks, restaurants, award-winning Scandinavian donuts, yum, in the lakes area. Do check out the photos. Speaking of good photos, beautiful property. 31468 Murray Avenue in Lindstrom for $700,000. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show.
It's a great area.
It is a nice area.
Yeah.
Super nice area. You think about that.
What, Lindstrom?
Yeah, right up. Yeah. And again, that's a good example where you're out a little bit further, but yet you're close enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like convenience. So where I live, I like to be close to things.
Yeah.
That means you're going to have more neighbors. That and I don't know. I was talking to a high school buddy this week who said, I don't want neighbors.
No.
And he lives in the sticks.
Do you know your walkability score?
Actually, it's probably not super high because it's Bloomington. It's the suburbs.
Sure.
So
Well, I think it's also what you get used to. It's like,
Yeah.
I think, because I'm the same as you. Right now, I like to be close to everything. But when we had all the kids, we actually lived out in Credit River on acreage, and it was a different thing. When you went to the grocery store, it was going to the grocery store. I mean,
Sure.
you're going, to like get everything so you're set for a couple weeks. Where now I go to the grocery store, it's in and out in 5 minutes, and it's to set yourself for a couple days.
yeah.
But yeah, it's different when you can't just jump on and go to the gas station.
Yeah.
It's like you got to make sure that you're thinking more about it.
Before we forget, you are our trusted partner, insurance. We want people to reach out to you to do this, evaluation, talk insurance. Best way for people to connect with you, talk with you.
You can reach out to the Minnesota Real Estate Show online, or you can give me a call at 651-690-2076.
Yeah, Brad's a good man. A lot of good stuff. Insurance, and I encourage you. You've motivated me to look at insurance and just say, look. Oh.
I had a client in Las Vegas. They went off the curb and they wrecked the rim and the tire. And so I called a friend of mine that owns a tires place, and I got a quote for them. So when they went back to the rental car place, if they were going to charge them a lot more than that, they were going to buy it here and have it shipped out there. So that's one of the things I do as an agent.
Yeah,
a little extra.
That was a little extra for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little extra indeed. Scott, what do you think the rest of the year? You think market, we've had a few more transactions overall. Inventory's creeping up a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we have, but what's been kind of curious to me, the last 2 weeks, we've been down in pendings and down in new listings.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to start to see a little bit of that same trend. Like we talked about at the beginning of the show, unless rates drop, to give a boost, and it doesn't even have to be a big boost, but just a boost to everybody that's been sitting there to get back into it. I think we're going to have kind of the same. It's going to be a little bit better year than last year. Last year was down 25% ish. And I think this year will be up over last year. But I think in terms of actual units sold, I think we will still be down from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the Federal Reserve said that they are not going to lower interest rates because the economy is strong. They suggest the next time they're going to lower rates might be in August. So then,
Well, but I don't think inflation's an issue.
No, it's not.
It is.
my
We were
bad.
just joking a little bit. It is. It's a tough time, again, having friends, family, folks I've talked to specifically about some of the cost things directly. It's hard. I know you did it. You put up a post about cost of groceries, and that was trending on Facebook. It was Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and then Scott's post about
on
inflation.
groceries, yes.
Seriously, it was. You got a flood of people.
Yeah. Well, because it is. It is crazy. That's why when I said, when the inflation numbers came out, and I found out that the two things that are not in inflation numbers are groceries and gas, and I'm like, well, the only other thing that people care about that they're getting kicked in the teeth is payments, house payment.
Sure.
So what else affects the?
gas
Yeah.
and food.
Here we go.
Yes,
We're going
of
back
course.
live on air
Easy.
on WCCO. We do appreciate it. Hope your weekend's going well. Get out and enjoy some sunshine. Nice sunshine here today. Thanks, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us. Got to give a nice little shout out. This is a cool property in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. Mr. Bill Ebert with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, guys. He has one at 1950 North Highway Boulevard, unit number 8, for $248,900. It is a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's a 3-season cabin on Prairie Lake. It's a large lot, and it was once part of, Bill said, Old Snug Harbor Resort. A lot of great updates. 135 feet plus of shoreline, room for 3 docks. The lake is 1,400 plus acres. It's great for fishing. There's no condo association or HOF requirements, he said. There's a large paver block patio with a bonfire pit to enjoy evenings overlooking the lake. It's about 2 hours northeast of St. Paul. A lot of updates, open concept, kitchen, dining, living room areas. And Scott, it's close to Chautauqua, about 5 to 10 minutes away for shopping, dining out, tavern, restaurant nightlife. And again, Bill Ebert has that listed. Check that out, 248-9 in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. And then the last one, Scott, Jen Tischletter has got one in Savage, 4005 127th Trail for $525. 4-bed, 3-bath home, large corner lot. It's got an open concept kitchen, vaulted ceilings, recessed lighting. Jen said the homeowners have updated this home year after year. There is a marquee swim spa available for sale, maintenance-free deck, privacy-free, maintenance-free fence, paver patio, convenient location close to shopping, restaurants, freeways. Check that out, 4005 127th Trail in Savage for $525. You can see as a team, folks, we work all over Minnesota and western Wisconsin, Chautauqua, Duluth, Rochester, you name it. We're the Minnesota real estate team is in action, Scott.
You know, one of the things we were talking about lake homes here, obviously, and you know, I don't have my finger on the pulse as much as I did, but if anybody's out there that does anything up north, you know, the Brainerd area, I wonder what the activities like in second homes with the interest rates being what they are, and obviously the inflation hitting as hard as it is. I wonder if that has hurt the. Do you know that? I haven't really stayed on top of it.
Yeah, it is interesting. Again, I think they're struggling with inventory.
Yeah.
A lot of what, just talking to some friends up in, say, for the Brainerd Lakes area, struggling with inventory a little bit, trying to find people looking to sell. And I know it's kind of a weird market right now. Again, you would think, I don't know, you would think there aren't challenges, but every year, Scott, we've talked about every year there's something.
There is.
As buyers, sellers, investors, it's just. When are we going to have a market that's just sunshine and rainbows?
Well, you know, I think back on that. You know, the first 3 or 4 years I was in the business, I thought this was just easy peasy. This is just how it was.
Well, it's perspective.
Well, because I didn't know, and so
you didn't know any better.
I came in, and that was just what the market. Well, when I look back, there were some issues with that market. Interest rates were at 8.25. Inventory was balanced. Basically, we're about 17,000 homes.
And you sold like 80 homes that year, 70
yes.
or whatever it was.
It was a lot, yeah, and it was a lot of it. Well, because I was young and just crazy, first of all, but also, yeah, I mean, you just there's always issues. You know, we've talked about it on the show a lot. Would you rather be in a market like we were in the first 4 months of 2022, where you're writing 15 offers before you can get one through because there's 25 offers on everything, or would you rather have 80 listings in 2006? And have 1 or 2 of them sell over 9 months, and have to babysit 78 homes that did not sell? And why aren't we getting any showings, and what's going on?
Hey, Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. We're on the home stretch here. We only have a couple minutes. Last thoughts for people insurance-wise.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about those listings. How our industries are married is you talk about properties being updated. And that's what an insurance carrier expects. They expect you to update the furnace. They expect you to keep the roof in good shape, the gutters and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the last item, if you're going to be shopping, is to kind of in your mind figure out what deductible you want, because the deductible controls the price quite a bit. And so that's kind of, when you said that, it really hit home that's how we marry together, is keeping the homes updated.
Stay up to date, Scott. It's like you on a personal level. Stay up to date.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
You got the latest clothes. You got the latest haircut. You're just dialed in.
Absolutely.
You're working out.
Absolutely. Latest clothes, whatever Marshalls has is I'm up to date.
Or Kohl's.
Oh, Kohl's, yeah.
Hey, it's been a fun show. Scott, last thoughts for folks?
No, I think, getting positioned right now for the second half of the year, if you are a buyer or if you're a seller, like right now, I think that if you're a seller that knows you're going to be making a move over the next 3 to 5 years, you got to remember you're still at the top of the absolute number you're going to get for your home right now, give or take a few percentage points if it goes up.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out. Mike Overson's wonderful daughter, Kaya. Got to give a shout out. She's a freshman. She's running in the state track meet finals today, Saturday, in 2 events: the 4x100 meter and the open 200 meter. She's a freshman at Lakeville North. She is in the top 9 fastest girls in class AAA in the open 200 meter. She's only 0.05 seconds, 5/100ths of a second away from breaking the Lakeville North school record in the 200. Wow.
Stud.
Her
Nice.
4x100 meter time is in the top 9 fastest teams in class AAA. Her 4x100 meter team is only 0.2 seconds away from breaking the school record at Lakeville North. We're wishing you good luck. No surprise, being a daughter of Mr. Mike Overson. Congratulations, Kaya. That's awesome.
Yeah, Mike could probably go out there right now and run the 4x100 relay.
For those, we were joking about updates. Mike is the guy. I mean, you talk about update. I mean, that guy's dialed in, but that's why we work with him as a mortgage guy. He's got his stuff together and is doing a great job. So, hey, fun show, guys. Good job.
Yeah, it was. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday, same time.
Yeah, again, thanks to Brad Sanford's Farmers Insurance. A kind thanks to Dennis, our great producer here at WCCO, for coming in and dealing with us. Enjoy this weekend, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next Saturday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. How about that for Kaya? Wow, top
Amazing.
200 meters. I like the 200. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Mike has athletes in his family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine his little boys as they get older.
Well, that's what we've said on the show before. All these guys that went to Laverne,
Yeah.
and now their kids are, they were all
Jason Walgrave.
Jason Walgrave, Derek Walgrave, Mike, these monsters that came out of this little school, and they set all these records and track and whatever. And now the kids are doing it.
Yeah, fun
Wow.
stuff. Hey, we appreciate you joining us, watching. So many of you watching throughout the entire show. Thank you. We hope this is fun, informative for you. And again, a big thanks to Brad Sanford Farmers Insurance.
Thanks for having me.
You, with your Celsius drink, maybe we'll buy Scott one of those.
There we go.
We'll be back next weekend, next Saturday, everybody. Take care.